as well as its commitment to good governance more broadly. What damage has the suspension of the Auditor General done to Sierra Leone at this particular point in time? That is part of the good governance. That is why you have civil society organizations that should come out and speak up about this. Because if civil society organizations don't speak up about this, they are actually helping this government to take away money from the people of Sierra Leone, from the MCC. Because the MCC is going to look at all of this Auditor General's thing and say, wow, what the hell is going on? Guys, let me go to the Constitution right here. This is section 119. Let me show you guys this. Section 119 of the Constitution here. Right here. I want you guys to connect the dots, guys. Let us pay attention. Stay with me. This is the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone. Section 119, subsection 1. This is what it says. I want you guys to pay attention. There shall be an Auditor General for Sierra Leone, whose office shall be a public office, and who shall be appointed by the President after consultation with the Public Service Commission and subject to the approval of Parliament. Lara Telopias was actually employed by President Nkrumah. You guys, everybody knows that. That is not new. Now, let us go down to subsection 9. Subsection 9. Right here. So section 119. Good. Let me make this so all of us can see this together. Section 119, subsection 9. The provisions of section 137 of this Constitution, which I will show you, relating to the removal of a judge or the Superior Court of Judicature other than the Chief Justice from office shall apply to the Auditor General. Basically, this is just telling us that the same processes and procedures that you should take to remove a judge is the same policies and procedures you should follow to remove an Auditor General. That is the same policy you should follow. Now, let us do this. And matter of fact, before I go further, there's something I want to clarify. There was an issue, there was an incident with this current Chief Justice, Babatunde Edwards. The current Chief Justice. Matter of fact, let me see. I want to... These guys, we got for the show them, face them. You know, let one see them. Whilst in picture, they pull up now. But there was an incident with this current Chief Justice during the days of former President Nkrumah, when it was cited for insubordination by the Chief Justice at the time, a lady, something, I think Jala or something along that line, right? But let me show you guys the Chief Justice. This is the Chief Justice, Babatunde Edwards. I want you guys to see them. You guys have to start recognizing these people. Now, in this way, the middle. These are the European Union folks, them, when they came out with the report of October 29th. This is the Chief Justice of Sierra Leone. I want you guys to see these people. I want you guys to know these people. Let me see. I think this photo is single. Let me put this photo now. This one is a lot more better. Let me put this photo right here. I want you guys to see him because the SLPP might want to use this false equivalence to make comparison with what is actually happening now. This Chief Justice Babatunde Edwards on the scene. At some point, the Chief Justice at the time moved him. They made, they make, move people around the country. So it was sent to Bo to be the presiding judge in the South. But he did not want to go. So what did he do? He still violated the orders of the Chief Justice at the time, and then came to his office in Freetown at the judicial building in Freetown. It came to his office. So the Chief Justice at the time, the lady, ordered security personnel to stop him from getting into the office because he actually broke the door and entered the office. This Babatunde, he broke the door and entered into the office. Can you imagine a justice at the time behaving that violently? And that is why you see their actions is all violence at this particular point in time. Just, randomly locking people up and all that stuff. That is what they do. We see that, prevalently with these guys anyways. So that is what they actually did. So what we want to show to you guys and let you guys understand is the fact that these guys, they've been very lawless all this time. So that was the situation where they wanted to compare that with what happened to, the Lara Telopias case and all that stuff. But that's not going to fly, right? We know at that particular point, this guy was just insubordination. He did not want to go. So, but President Nkrumah, in his infinite wisdom, interfered into that matter, and it was settled amicably without having to, become a public brouhaha. So now, let me get back to this. The Constitution makes it very clear that for you to remove an Auditor General, basically you have to follow the same prescription that you would follow to remove a judge. Now, let me show you guys this. This is where this becomes a little bit very interesting. I'm going to switch here and show now where Section 137, right? Let me show you guys Section 137. I'm going to make that big on the screen there. Section 137. It says right here, let me bold it for you guys so you guys can see where I'm going. Subject to the provisions of this section, a judge of the Superior Court of Judicature shall hold office during good behavior. Fine. Now, let us go down to number 4. This is where the policies, the procedure, the actual procedure, where there is no malice, where there is nothing, we all know if the Auditor General has committed these kinds of crimes that the president was talking about, oh my God, we should have heard about it. But where there is no malice, to follow proper procedures and policies, what the president should have done was to, first of all, through the Attorney General, writes to the JDLC or whatever the title is, to say that it has a case against the Auditor General, and then therefore summon a tribunal, and the tribunal, after the tribunal, the findings from the tribunal, that it suggests and represent to the president to say that, hey, yes, it's okay to keep this Attorney General, this Auditor General, or we should fire this Auditor General. That is how the policy and procedure should go, where there is no malice, where there is no bastardization of the Constitution, where there is no, somebody's trying to hide something, because we know the president is trying to hide something. But when you read this, let me go back to the screen so you guys can see the Constitution right here. Section 4. Let me start from there. I'm going to read all the way through. Pay attention, everybody. Pay attention. Now, let me go to subsection 5. Actually, I'm going to do subsection 5. Let me do this one. If the Judicial and Legal Service Commission represents to the president that the question of removing a judge, in this case, guys, replace judge with the Auditor General, right? If the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, which was the JLSC, matter of fact, that was what I was talking about, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission represents to the president that the question of removing Attorney General of Sierra Leone, other than the Chief Justice under subsection 4, ought to be investigated. Then, so when the president actually reaches out to the JLSC, which is the Judicial Legal Service Commission, guys, you don't need to become a lawyer. You don't need to be a lawyer for interpreting these things. It is only after the president don't reach out to the Judicial Legal Service Commission, after he has reached out to them, then come back to the president to say to the president that the question of removing a judge of the Superior Court of Judicature other than the Chief Justice under subsection 4 ought to be investigated. Then, subsection, A, it says, then the president, acting in consultation with the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, shall appoint a tribunal which shall consist of a chairman and 2 other members. So these guys, President Bio and the SLPP, and you have these political slaves, what they did was do everything backwards, basically, guys. Everything was done backwards. Because why? There is hate, there's malice. What's he want to do? He's trying to stifle the process, the progress of the Auditor General's report. That is what he was trying to do. So now that he has, suspended the Auditor General quick because he had to act fast. We all know about the receipts of hotel bills and all of that stuff that is going to come out. We're going to see all of these things. No matter how long it takes, we're going to see these things. So what did President Bio do? He had to halt the progress that the Auditor General was making in bringing out, the report. So he had to go after her immediately to stop everything. They did everything backwards. Now we saw the Deputy Attorney General coming with a letter because they were trying to backtrack everything that they've done because they messed up. Because it is clear, the president can only start an investigation after the Judicial Committee don't come back, the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, after they've come back to the president, they come back to the president and tell him that, yes, we can start an investigation. Then, the president, acting in consultation with the Judicial and Legal Service Commission, shall appoint a tribunal. But when I see, quick, it also suspend the lady, because what you do, if you say get the authority, members of parliament don't allow him to do whatever he wants to do. They remove 10 members of parliament, nothing happened. So if he thinks it's okay for him to just fire and hire without following policies and procedures, that's what he did in this case. Did everything backwards. This is how this man is sabotaging the progress of the MCC, basically. He's sabotaging the progress of the MCC. Because we're making this progress. And I'm showing you these guys because I want you guys to see what I'm saying when it comes to, sabotaging the progress that we are making. He's going to, millions of Sierra Leoneans rely on the funds that we can receive from the MCC. But these actions, this violating of the constitutions, all of these things is bothered around, good governance. And this is not a good governance thing. This is also destroying opportunities and possibilities of having investors to come into the country. Guys, I want you also to think about the ramifications that this has. Now, let's continue. The tribunal appointed under paragraph A shall inquire into the matter. Let me put this here so everybody will see this. So now, the tribunal appointed under paragraph A shall inquire into the matter and report on the facts thereof and findings thereon to the president and recommend to the president whether the judge, in this case, put the attorney general, ought to be removed from office under subsection 7. Now, let's continue. Let me just leave that. Matter of fact, guys, let me just leave that. I don't even want to go there. Let me leave that. But this is what is happening. This is what the SLPP did. President Bio did not follow policies and procedures. And he only did this after the MCC came out. After the MCC, came out with a scorecard. And let me show you guys the scorecard because I want you guys to see these things. Let's show you the scorecard. I want you guys to see this. I want you guys to see this scorecard, guys. This is the scorecard. We give President Bio the gumption. This is why President Bio had the gumption and the audacity to go and fire the Auditor General. Because of all of these. Look at political rights. I'm not even going to go into that. Civil liberties. These guys are scoring 92% in civil liberties. Political rights. Political rights where you guys know I've talked about all of this stuff. What did they do? Old minister go toss a ballot box at the air. You guys saw what happened in Kono recently. I'm not going to go into all of this. But this is the scorecard. This is why President Bio thinks it's okay to go after the Auditor General. Because look, they are scoring 83% in control of corruption. Where we don't say there is massive corruption. I don't see the control. The control all are just perception. Because the whole thing about this MCC is all about perception at the end of the day. And these guys are counting on it. So what would Francis Benkaifala do? It goes after the opposition. Right? Attack Samura Kamara. Invite former President Nkrumah, creating a perception. And then it goes over radio telling people that all of these countries want to come learn from Sierra Leone. Let them come to Sierra Leone and learn. We are waiting for them to come and learn on the ground. And let them meet with the actual people themselves. Let them see what is actually happening. Where the president and his wife are involved in corruption and everything. But this is the scorecard. And that is why the SLPP and President Bio, they have to be very mindful and careful. Because we don't want them to take away, the opportunities that might come from having the MCC, the funding from the MCC. Let me show you guys this. I was reading this part of the MCC because I want you guys to see how important for the SLPP to pay attention and understand that it can cost us this MCC. If they don't pay attention to these little things. The MCC, even though we are compact eligible, you see, because of these actions, firing Auditor General. Now, what? Listen, when you check the MCC, guys, I've always told you guys, go and look up the Human Rights Report of 2020. Compare the Human Rights Report of 2020 to that of the MCC. I want you to do that. Compare the European Union press release of October 29th to that of the MCC. I want you to do that. Compare the Mo Ibrahim's report. Compare that to the MCC report. All three, the other three reports are all reporting the same. giving us the factual realities. But the MCC, for some reason, guys, and that is a topic for another day, where I can show you how the MCC, how they do the selection process and all of that stuff. The parameters and everything that you have to meet, and who gathers the information, the organizations that are responsible. I will show you all of these things. And I hope you guys will learn from this. But this is what is actually happening. This man is actually sabotaging the people of Sierra Leone from receiving the funding from MCC by his actions. It's been 4 years. There's been not one investor into Sierra Leone. Why? Because of these actions. Not one, because of these actions. It is very simple. It's very clear. Because they look at what is actually happening. When you go to McKinney, you kill people. You're firing the Auditor General. You're removing 10 members of parliament. Your ministers are violating people's constitutional rights when it comes to voting. They're destroying ballot materials. You're killing people at Padeba Road Prison. Massacre upon massacre across the country.